So today we're quickly going to be talking about the different degrees of separation in the recruitment process. And, we all know that 6 degrees of separation theory, that any of us are only 6 degrees of separation away from anyone else in the world. And even nowadays, I think it's potentially with social media, 1 or 2 degrees away from anyone else in the world. Now, there's a few people I can think of that I'm pretty sure I'm not just 1 or 2 degrees away from them, but be that as it may. Many degrees of separation is certainly not something you want in your recruitment process. And the reason for that is really the same as what would happen in any telephone tag kind of game. If you've got a hiring manager who goes to brief a senior HR person, who oftentimes in turn briefs a more junior HR person, then it comes to internal or external recruitment, and from there it still needs to come across to the candidate. You can imagine with all those different layers in between, how much the message of what really is needed changes to what is being brought across to recruiters and what they in turn tell a candidate when they are searching and briefing candidates on the role. So there's such a difference in expectation and understanding where it really comes from and when it really comes to the candidate. And this is something that you really do want to avoid. So what you ideally want to do is you want to make your choice of search partner or recruitment partner, work together with them, your senior HR and your hiring manager, for those three parties to sit together, talk about the role and really develop a scorecard for the role in terms of what that individual is going to need to come on board to do, what the real effectiveness and purpose and focus of their role should be. And then from there, once that scorecard is developed, now your recruiter can go to market and they can actually match candidates much more accurately against, because you really only have one layer of messaging in between now. So it's much, much closer to the original. And even then, of course, because there are human beings involved in every aspect, understanding and bringing across information, there could always still be a little bit of misinformation, but you will be much closer to an accurate message. And of course, as your recruiter goes along with the process, because of this trust relationship with hiring manager as well as senior HR, and being able to work together on finding the best talent for that role, if there are curveballs in the process, if there are maybe candidates that might not have been someone you thought you would consider, but they could potentially work very well, if there are things that really become very difficult to work around and it just seems that this is not a good way to recruit for this role, all these things can be very easily discussed and sorted out one-on-one. So it's very risky for any hiring manager to just brief one party and let it go layer upon layer upon layer and hope that in the end they are going to get what they really want to. It really is not going to be the most effective way. Many layers are wonderful in cake, but it really doesn't suit recruitment very well.